Hello everyone, welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin and today we are going to be looking into the next 2 weeks for you to see any bigger energy shifts, the lessons you'll be learning within these next 2 weeks, and any guidance and insights coming through. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so welcome back my beautiful kindred spirits, and anyone who is new joining in here for these Monday readings that I put out every single week. Today we are going to be looking into the next 2 weeks for you and see what's coming in for all of the different energy insights and guidance, but also the lessons that you'll be learning within these next 2 weeks. I normally don't do lessons within these readings, but I felt very called to do that within this month, so I also did it with the monthly reading that we did. So definitely let me know if you're enjoying that aspect of these readings, and I'll start to bring that in even more. But before we really start settling into the rest of this reading and look at the nitty-gritty details of each of these piles, I do want to invite anyone who is new and curious about the things that we do here on this channel. I put out readings every single Monday, and usually they are for monthly readings, timeless readings, or 2-week readings, although I like to dabble in other types of magical content as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, to see all the different readings that I already provide, then feel free to have a little look-see or subscribe and join on in. If you'd also like to support this channel even further through being able to support yourself, feel free to check out the snail mail readings that I do, as well as the Yule spell and ritual paper for the winter solstice that I am currently offering. I want to be able to make sure that you can receive these as soon as possible through the holiday shipping madness. So if that's something you're interested in, if you would like to get these Yule and winter solstice spell papers, then definitely jump on it. They're made from 100% recycled ingredients and are eco-friendly and vegan, so if that's something you're interested in, then definitely check those out down below. There are only 6 sets available, so if that's something you want, then definitely check it out. But yeah, before I waffle on any further, we're going to go ahead and look at these piles. So as always with these 2-week readings, I give you 2 different options to choose from and really use your intuition on. So here for pile number 1, we have a crystal as well as this stone. The stone is of a little planet that's green and teal with a kind of Saturn vibe to it. And then next to it we have here the Opalite stone. So it looks different as you move it around, and in the light it looks like this amber color. So right now it's like more of a whitey blue, but it can be amber as well. So that is pile number 1. And then for pile number 2 here, we have this stone that has this mountain range with a little sun right next to it. So that may resonate with you. And then we also have this, it's got lots of little rainbows in it. I don't know if any of them are showing up, but it's a piece of amethyst that I recently got from my best friend. So that is pile number 2. And then lastly here for pile number 3, we have this like partially cloudy sky with a sun and then these little clouds. And then right next to it you have this piece with also sort of like an icy look to it of a clear quartz point. So it almost looks like ice. So that is pile number 3. So before you start heading off to your piles, let's go ahead and take a deep cleansing breath together and ground yourself so you can really use your intuition, take a moment and settle with the cards here and see which pile is really calling to you. So let's go ahead and take that deep breath together here now. And as always, there is no right or wrong way to choose your piles. You can choose 1 pile, 2 piles, all 3 piles, choose a pile, flip-flop, change your mind. Whatever really works for you and resonates for you is probably the best route for you. There's really no rules to this. But if you already know which pile is for you or piles are for you, then the timestamps will be down below in the description, as well as within the chapter marks of the video for your convenience. And if you would like to support this channel even further, definitely check out my offerings down below for snail mail readings and for the Yule spell paper. But you can also just go down there to check out the community that we have over on Instagram, as I am very frequently on there and I connect with so many of you through there. So if that's something you're interested in for the magic and art magic that I do over there, then definitely check that out down below. So with all of that said, let's go ahead and get started with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this piece of Opalite as well as this little planet, then this is the pile for you. I'm not gonna lie, if I were gonna choose one of these piles, I was probably gonna choose the little planet because I just absolutely love that little rock. But anyways, today we are going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations. We're also going to be using several different oracle decks in kind of a oracle slash minor arcana tarot deck, and all of those will be listed down below in case you're curious. But we're also going to be using the Line Strider Tarot. So if you are settled, you have some cozy blankets, something comfy on, if you're settled, if you're ready to go, then we're going to go ahead and get started to look into the next 2 weeks for you. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So group 1, feel free to send your energy in. We're going to be looking into the next 2 weeks. For group 1, what do we need to know for energy, insights, and guidance for group 1 for the next 2 weeks? So first off, we have the High Priestess. Ooh, this one has a lot to do with understanding your intuition, using your spiritual gifts, getting really into your spiritual side, or even your religious side, and really just kind of honing in on that type of element within your personality, even if it's absent. But yeah, that's coming in here with the High Priestess. Let's see what else there is. Definitely listen to your gut and your intuition within these next 2 weeks. Let's see some more context on this. So group 1, what do you have coming in for the next 2 weeks, group 1? Whoa, okay. I'm going to sort through these and see if there's anything here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this Queen of Wands because it's actually the one that I saw when all of them flipped. So we're going to take this Queen of Wands because I felt like it was the most prominent coming through. So we have the Queen of Wands here, very assertive energy. There's this energy of like having to rule over several people in a queen sense, but in your own personal everyday life, there's just people you're possibly taking care of at this time. Maybe you have kids, children, maybe you are a caregiver or something like that. I just feel like there's something where you're ruling over other people. Maybe you're a teacher and you're basically a guardian to someone in some sense, or a mentor. And there's something coming in about needing to use your intuition within that, but also just there's almost like this, like you need to make sure to continue to stay confident in the rulings that you're making is what I'm getting the most. Like especially if you have kids, making sure to follow through, stuff like that. I just feel like that's going to be really important within these next 2 weeks. And it's going to be most impactful. So listen to your gut, because I think that's going to be a really important thing. So we also have the Four of Pentacles here. So the Four of Pentacles is a very frugal energy, or a type of energy of holding on to the past, holding on to too many material goods, holding on to just basically anything. It could be anything. It could be holding on to a relationship. It could be holding on to material goods in your life, like needing to purge literally. Maybe your living room's just full of like old packing materials or something like that. I don't know. But it seems like you're hoarding or holding on to something because you feel like if you let it go, then you're not going to be able to either trust yourself without it, or you're not going to feel as resourceful or as confident without it. But that's not true. It's just like this feeling of, sentimental attachments towards things, or using material goods and items and feelings to hide or hold yourself back within as like a coping mechanism. Instead of like just letting things go, because I just feel like you're kind of like holding on to too much stuff, and it's making it harder for you to listen to your gut, because it's just getting kind of like I talk about this a lot on these readings, but the idea that our space really does represent how we're feeling mentally. So if your space is full of like old moving packing boxes, or maybe you're working on the house and you have a lot of old stuff that you still need to sort through, or maybe there's just like this purging that maybe needs to happen and you need to have a ruling, maybe even with your kids, maybe they're currently, going through that age of having to understand how to clean up and how to do chores and things like that. There's just something that there's this tie, an apron tie, a tie to material goods, sentimental goods, or just to people in your life that is just kind of making things feel stagnant, like they can't move forward. I hope this is making sense, because I feel like I'm just like yammering about and talking about nothing, but I think it's because there's not a lot of context here in terms of the exact. So I'm really just talking on the feelings that are coming in, that are like that confidence feeling, the feeling of holding on to something, and the intuition, and how those are kind of working together. And I feel like it's one of those things where maybe a lot of you chose this pile and it's hard to really wrap my head on which specific energy is needed most here for you. So definitely take your time, see what comes through there, but we're going to get some more information. I think that's going to help us the most. So let's narrow in on this. Let's get some clarity here, please, from this wonderful Prairie Majesty Oracle deck. All right, send your energy in. So the next 2 weeks for group 1. Ooh, okay, so we have the star. This also talks about guidance. So I really do think there is something about wanting to guide those that are in your life. There's something about needing to, one, find guidance within. Oh, okay, so I feel like you need to find guidance within yourself, like within where you want to go in life or what you're doing with life, because I feel like there's like this existential, not crisis, but just sort of like, I feel like you're maybe just having to step into this role and you maybe weren't ready for it, or you're starting to feel bogged down by it. And this is your opportunity these next 2 weeks to find guidance, to recenter with yourself, because like I said, there's just too much clutter within your mind, within your actual physical space, within maybe it's even getting muddled up within the rulings that you're making and the steps that you're taking to even rule over yourself in a way. Like if you're trying to make practical steps within your calendar, if you're trying to like really see the full picture, because the stars, if you think about it, I mean, that's the full picture of the universe. You're seeing a huge snapshot. And so maybe it's time to focus, narrow in, because you have too much that you're looking at. You're looking at the whole sky, and what you need to be looking at is like specific constellations, specific stars. So which specific parts of your life are you going to start to narrow in on and focus on? And based off the readings that I've been doing for several people this month, that's been a common theme. So definitely a lot of us, especially around the holidays, we get there's a lot to do, For me personally, I celebrate Christmas and Yule, and so there's a lot of different spiritual things that I'm doing. There's a lot of different, like putting up the tree, singing carols, watching Christmas movies, that kind of stuff, and trying to get these things done, and trying to do that, and trying to do that. And I just think that your mind needs to refocus and recenter. So just take a minute to take a breath, listen to yourself, and see where you really want to start heading, and start making that heading and making those steps almost a rule over yourself, because I feel like you're getting a little like lost in the thick of it. So let's go ahead and look even further. So I'm going to go ahead and pull from this deck. This is actually the first tarot deck I've ever had, because it doesn't have all of the cards, obviously, because it is just a playing card deck, but it is a very honest deck, is what I found over the years. So we're going to look into some honest messages and lessons that are coming in within the coming 2 weeks. So group 2. So group 1, I'm thinking of 2 weeks, but group 1 here, we have the Jack of Spades, or this is also the Knight of Swords, which is about being very fast. It is the fastest of the knights, where the Knight of Pentacles takes things slow and steady. This is talking about very quick energy. So I don't feel like it's because you necessarily want to be quick, because that's not really showing up with the rest of your cards, but it is telling you that things are just going to be happening very quickly within your life, and you're going to have to make very quick snap judgments using your intuition and your gut. Because right now, You may just not have the time to really think everything through, but I do think that you have the capacity to make quick snap judgments and work towards your goals and towards maybe you're working on gift making, maybe you're working on trying to get things done for the holidays, and you're just kind of, like I said, stuck in it all. So once you clear that picture, you're going to be able to make those snap judgments because you're not looking at the whole sky anymore. So start to just, even within your calendar, start to give yourself only like 3 things to work on that day. Or if you are working on a task and it seems huge, and it's something that maybe even is going to take all these next 2 weeks to do, start breaking it down into smaller parts, right? We have a whole sky, then break that down into the constellations, then break that down into just the individual stars. So each task can work together to make that whole sky work, if that makes sense. Because I really feel like I'm talking in a lot of analogies, so I'm hoping that makes sense. Sometimes I feel like certain piles need very strict things, but in this case, I feel like yours is, I don't know, I feel like I need to speak in analogies. So we're just going to see how those resonate, but let's go ahead and get one more card here. Feel free to send your energy in. Any other lessons or more honest truths that we may need within the month. So, okay, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So where you were the Queen of Wands, right, ruling over, here, I'll go ahead and pull it up for you. So we have the Queen of Wands, very determined, very confident energy, also very social, a very socialite energy. We're going to be moving more into the Queen of Pentacles. So where things are very fast still, like I was saying, things are still going to be happening quite quickly, you're going to be able to make judgments that are going to nurture the things that you're wanting to grow within your life, as well as have the inspiration to do it, because you don't need all of this stuff. You don't need to hold all of it for that to happen. But let's go ahead and see one more message here, because I want to get to your charms as well. But we're going to go ahead and use the Language of Flowers deck. I love to use this one to see messages outside of this entire situation, just to see messages that are coming in for any romantic, platonic, or familial relationships within your life. So if you have a specific person that you would like to kind of evoke within this, feel free to send that energy through. But we're going to see any advice coming in or energy that's happening within the next 2 weeks for the relationships within group. I feel like there's 2, so I'm going to pull one more. Maybe within group 1 for the next 2 weeks. Okay, there it is. Okay, so we had Calla Lily here, as well as, they're both lilies. Interesting. So we have 2 different lilies. We have the Peruvian, I think, lily and the Calla Lily. One is rejuvenation, reawaken, and then stand stronger. And the other is more effort will get you what you want, right? So you have to still put in the effort to kind of unclog these pipes, the things that you're holding on to. But that's going to rejuvenate everything that you're doing. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have more passion towards your goals. You're going to be able to actually make structure towards those goals, and focus in on that constellation or that star that you're thinking of, so you can actually guide yourself towards it or guide those who you're mentoring towards it, because right now it's just feeling kind of muddled. So you're going to need to have the strength to be able to rejuvenate your space for that. But also just within your relationships, this can also just talk about rejuvenating a relationship, coming back together with someone. Maybe you're meeting back up, or that you need to put the effort in to meet back up with someone. If you haven't spoken to a friend in a long time, if you haven't been able to see a family member in a long time, or if there's just something that needs to be reawakened within your relationship, rejuvenized, that's going to take effort, and it might take like deeper conversations, but those are going to pay out in the end. So, okay. Hopefully this one made sense. I feel like when I'm editing this, it's going to sound like it makes sense, but as I'm talking right now, I feel like I'm just like, blah, blah, blah. So hopefully it made sense for you all. But we're going to go ahead and move on to move on to your charms. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and start on into the charms. So group 1 for the next 2 weeks. For group 1, what do they need to know within the next 2 weeks? Okay. Wow, a lot of green. We've got a green heart. We've got a green leaf. We've got green here. There's so much green showing up here. Okay, so interesting that you got that one as well. I'm going to go ahead and zoom you in so you can see all of the charms here. Here we are. Okay, so like I said, there's a lot of green happening here, so maybe the color green really resonates with you. We do have the ornament charm, so again, this could have to do with the holidays, traditions that are going on. Maybe you're even changing up traditions. That's also something that's coming through, because you do have the turn a new leaf. So maybe you're changing, maybe you're going into like a new religion. Maybe you are starting into a new holiday. Maybe there's new traditions that you're rejuvenating from the past. Even there's something about changing up traditions within your family or within the relationships that you are in because of you wanting to turn a new leaf. We also have the number 8, which does represent financial security, so that's really nice. We have also being more flexible within the next 2 weeks is going to be really helpful, because like I said, things are going to be happening very quickly, very fast, and so making those snap judgments, being flexible enough to be able to do that, or even opening, like I said, you have like your whole calendar, maybe it's just full for the next 2 weeks, so maybe it's being more flexible to change up your goals, so you actually give yourself breathing space within these next 2 weeks, because I think that's going to be really important and impactful. You did have the strength, right, that came in here with the Peruvian lily, but in this case we have here the strength from the Lion King Simba kind of tiger here. So this is talking about making a stand is also, like I said, this kind of relates way back to the very beginning messages that I had coming in, where if you are I can't remember Simba's father's name, but Mufasa, I think. Anyway, if you have, basically the father and the son in this case, and they're trying to teach their son, they're trying to tell them where to go, and, this is the land you should stay away from, this is the land that we rule over, and things like that. So basically just feel like like I said, you're mentoring someone, and you have to have the strength for these next 2 weeks. Maybe they're just, your kids are going to be maybe bugging you, annoying you, but you're actually going to be making some really impactful rulings in this case for them to really grow and thrive. You're giving them the structure that they need. As children, sometimes we need a bit of structure as well as play, and so I feel like you're teaching them that in a more gentle way. You also have the ladybug charm, so that's telling me that you've got some luck coming in within these next 2 weeks, which is always lovely to hear. More talking about letting go of material goods, because here we have the material goods kind of charm, the gems, the money coming in, that kind of stuff, but it also is like you're holding on to it, and then it was upside down, so it's telling me you letting go of it. It's not caging you in anymore. We also have, again, the financial heart. This one talks about, it looks to me like a row of pearls or something, like for like a pearl necklace, but into a heart. So again, there's more energy of like feeling more financially secure, or feeling like you don't, you're narrowing things down to the things that are actually like important to you. Like this could have been a beaded necklace of pearls that was an heirloom, so you kept that because it had real reason to be in your life, versus maybe the gem didn't, right? You looked at this gem and you were like, okay, I have it, it sits on my dresser, there's these things in my life, they're just cluttering up, but I don't need them, so let go of that weight. There also is the jealous heart, because talks about being envious or jealous, so maybe that's what you're hoping to let go of within these next 2 weeks, or even forgiving someone, or forgiveness could be coming in here as well with this heart. Again, something maybe having to do with money or money matters. Then we also have the link charms. This is feeling linked to something or someone, but it's not really showing up towards a lot of the other charms. So instead, seeing as it fell on this moon phase, this talks about, so being more flexible with like your schedule. I was talking about that earlier. So this is like feeling like everything is just kind of chaotic within your schedule, and you need to find the links, the things that link to make that constellation work, that make those tasks all work together in your favor, versus feeling really chaotic like a cloud that just kind of ends somehow. Because the moon phase that it fell on is all about making setting new goals or making specific intentions for the moon cycle. So in this case, this is about you needing to make those intentions within your like actual physical calendar and making sure that those are coming from a space of like, this actually matters to me. I'm not going to do that meeting because it doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to do this thing because it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to do this because this actually matters and is going to benefit me. Because again, you have more that you're holding on to and it's bottling up. It's about laser focusing in, because we do have the, this can talk about wisdom, but in this case, this charm, for me, lately I've been learning a lot more about owls and how one side of the owl's ears is smaller than the other ear so that they can narrow in and quickly find their target whenever they're hunting. So in this case, you're finding and focusing in very deeply on what you're working on, making sure that whatever you're working on in your life, or even not necessarily always working on, it can even be like maybe you're hanging out with your kids, or you're hanging out with a friend, or you're hanging out with your family. In this case, you're really taking time to be present within whatever it is that you're working on. And that's going to be really beneficial to you, especially with these new things that you're starting to be more flexible in the fact that you are opening yourself up and turning a new leaf on these different traditions that you may be setting. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and leave that there for your reading here today, Group 1. I feel like your group had a lot going on that obviously connected in several different ways, but at the same time, I feel like it's, like I said, you have a lot of chaos kind of happening, or a lot of energy that you're holding on to and is going to kind of bog you down. That's why there was a lot even in the cards that was kind of bogging up the reading. I think that's why I was like, it just feels like there's a lot happening here, but it can be simpler. So I think the biggest takeaway is just finding ways to simplify the things that are happening within your life within these next 2 weeks, either in your schedule, by purging things within your life, purging people, purging feelings, really letting some of that out, because there's just too much that you're holding on to, and it's making things much more difficult to be present and in the moment within life. So yeah, with all of that said, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I just realized I never pulled you a watercolor affirmation. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. So we're just going to see an affirmation you might need within the next 2 weeks. Group 1. Okay. So you have use your voice and life keeps on turning. So in case those resonate, I'm going to go ahead and leave those there. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like I said, I feel like I was even chaotic in this reading, so I hope that it did make sense, but that those are the major takeaways. Do let me know how it resonated down below, especially since I'm very curious about my ramblings, if they did truly resonate for you. If you're curious to see the other types of readings that I do, feel free to check out the rest of the readings that I have for love, career, friendship, spirituality, and so much more on my channel by subscribing. But you can also be a part of this community even further and support this space by checking out the different offerings that I have. I have Yule spell paper out right now for rituals and spells around the winter solstice that you can check out. It's 100% made from recycled paper, and it even has an oak leaf embedded in one of the pieces of paper. So there's a lot you can do with those for your rituals around the solstice. But you can also check out the snail mail readings that I do, because I send those in the mail to you, and I only have a few available for the rest of the month of November, and I may not even have any for December because of the holidays. So if you want to snag one of those up, definitely do it as soon as possible. But yeah, with all of that said, you can check those out down below or on my Instagram, and I will go ahead and leave you to enjoy your next 2 weeks. Wishing you the best, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hello Group 2, if you've decided to choose this amethyst with the mini rainbows inside, as well as these little mountains and the sun, then this is the pile for you. Feel free to get settled, grab some tea, some water, really get yourself refreshed and ready to go and cozy for this reading here today. We are going to be using the charms, the watercolor affirmations, several different oracle decks, which I'll have listed below, and then also the Line Strider tarot deck. So if you guys are settled and ready to go, we're going to go ahead and just start right on into it. So let's see. The next 2 weeks, feel free to send your energy in through time and space. The next 2 weeks, group 2. What do you have coming in for the next 2 weeks, group 2, for any energy, insights, or guidance? Okay, so we have the Five of Swords. This one, when I was just, because every time I start these readings, I try to kind of shuffle the deck, just kind of get the energy flowing and moving, and sometimes a card might fall out, or be at the bottom of the deck, and this one kept falling out, so I had a feeling one of you guys are going to get this for this reading. So here we are with the Five of Swords. This talks about, it can talk about a competitive streak, right? Because you can see this person in the background kind of feeling left out or feeling like a lot's been taken from them, and you're usually the person here being represented as, sorry, there's just like a random plane. It is so loud. We literally never get planes where I live, so this is so weird. Anyway, so here it usually represents you here in the center, and then there are a lot of like things that you're kind of almost like you're taking too much, or you want to win so badly that you'll say anything to win, and this is kind of feeling like you won, but you also kind of got defeated in the same. There's a lot of guilt is basically what I'm getting with this card. So here we are with the Five of Swords. Let's see some more information here on this Five of Swords, this guilt, this feeling of like competitive nature. So you have the Ten of Swords. Okay, lots of sword energy coming in here with the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords also feels very defeated or feeling kind of bogged down in your thoughts, possibly bogged down in anxiety, other mental health related situations. But there is something here about just feeling quite bogged down, feeling guilty, feeling like there needs to maybe even be forgiveness. I'm feeling this feeling of like a weight on your chest, like someone's put a weight on your chest and you're just, or you've put a weight on your chest based off your actions, and you're feeling the consequences of those. And yeah, so I just want to see some advice possibly for these next 2 weeks now for group 2 here. Some advice for group 2. So we have the Nine of Wands. Okay, so interesting that this would be the advice. So the Nine of Wands talks about putting up walls. But I feel like your advice here is to take down those walls, right? You've put up a lot of walls. You have all this armor that you're wearing, because maybe you've been hurt in the past, or you feel like you just need to be a lone wolf, is even what I'm getting here. And there's this need for like forgiveness. Like I just feel like it's not something that has to be happening. I don't feel like you have to be stuck in this situation. I don't feel like you have to have people walking away from you because you feel like you need to almost cut them out before they can become something that is important to you, or almost like you're just kind of feeling like scared of like either committing with someone. And this doesn't necessarily have to be romantic commitments, but just in general making commitments with other people, commitments with jobs, commitments with literally anything in your life. There just feels like there's this feeling of like guilt, or this feeling of like you need to push people away or push situations away because either you're not worthy or you're just scared this might happen again. And I just feel like you keep pushing people away and creating this wall, and it just keeps getting bigger and more, like people can't see you, almost as a defense mechanism, right? Like you're trying to cope through this situation. You're still trying to heal from this situation. But I do think it's important that you talk to people, that you don't keep your emotions or keep who you are bottled up and shielded from other people. I'm not saying you have to take all of these wands down all at once, but you've gone through the battle already and you're healing, but it's time to allow other people in is what I'm getting here. Maybe not all at once, but there is something about needing to let people in. Let other people be able to help you versus pushing them away. So, okay, deep already, quite a deep pile here. Let's see some more information though, for the next 2 weeks for you group. And the other message I was going to say real quick here, though, is I know that at least when I'm filming this, we're getting closer to the holidays, and maybe it even is a situation with a specific person that you only see like around the holidays, and maybe guilt or this feeling of like needing to board yourself up around the holidays is coming up here because maybe they just aren't, there may be toxic people that you're kind of stuck to in your family, stuck to in your life. And there's this feeling of needing to just board yourself up, and not saying that that's a bad thing, but with the people that are actually there for you, the people who want to be there for you, making sure not to push those people away, because they're there to make sure that you are safe and making sure that you can speak your mind and speak who you are and in a safe and welcoming manner, versus the people who maybe you're meeting up with this time of year who can be kind of toxic, but you only see them once a year, so you put all your armor on, and I totally understand that feeling. So I could see that being kind of a double sword here with that Nine of Wands as your advice, right? Because your advice is to still build that wall, but let the wall down when you're with people. You can let that wall down, because you can't have it up the whole next 2 weeks, or it's going to just make this situation fester and become much more difficult to manage. So, okay, yeah, like I said, very deep pile here for you guys, very deep. Let's see some more information, though, for you. Okay, so here we go. Group 2, what did you get? So you have, okay, nurture. What role is, and this maybe even as a mother, or someone more on the maternal side, but we have words. What role is mothering energy playing in my life? And then we have the bunny here, and then a little bunny, and it says nurture. So I also am getting like this feeling of, one, nurturing yourself, making sure to get back to yourself when and where you can, because, well, you have this shield up, and it's working for you, right? It's still pushing those people out. When you're by yourself, when you have that time, make sure you're continuing to nurture yourself, continuing to make sure to love yourself, not letting those people in who are creating this toxic environment possibly for you, maybe even making changes in who you let in at the holidays if that's possible for you. But yeah, so the Eastern Cottontail with nurture. Like I said, it could be a mother or someone on the maternal side of your family that could be coming in here to create this rift. But yeah, let's get some more information. So you already have quite a few hard truths, but I absolutely love this deck in the fact that it can be very, very honest. So we're going to see some honest truths coming in, and that might even be helpful for you, seeing as we have so much honesty coming in and deep thoughts. So we're going to see these next 2 weeks, any honest lessons that are coming through for group 2 here for the next 2 weeks. What do we need to hear? Group 2. Group 2. What do we got? Feel free to send your energy in. There we go. Always happens. I say that and then it's like the card flies out. Let's get one more here for group 2. Okay, I'm going to take this one. So we have the 9 of swords, so more sword energy for sure, feeling this anxiety even about this, right? You can put up the armor all you want, but there's still that squishy you on the inside that, can be quite vulnerable to these people, and it can create a lot of that rift feeling. We also have the 3 of Wands here, and the 3 of Wands talks about, sometimes it can talk about travel, much like the 2 of Wands, and this is actually making that step to travel. So like I said, you're maybe traveling out to people, seeing people around the holidays or something like that. But the other thing that I get with the 3 of Wands is it does talk about also collaboration and teamwork. So maybe it's working with a team, seeing who can help, nurture you even during this time, who can kind of step in and be part of your life to actually help you. Because like I said, you have people who you need to probably keep out because they are causing these situations, or maybe there's still like some forgiveness or hashing things out that needs to happen, that collaboration that can come with that. But if you don't feel like that's accessible to you at this time, if you don't feel like that's something you can do or is healthy for you at this time, then it's definitely still reaching out to those who can help nurture you, who can help be, step in and be your rock for a little while, so you don't have to always be your own rock. So yeah, wow. Okay, let's go ahead and get another message here. We're going to be looking in with these cards of the language of flowers to look into any relationships in your life. So these could be family relationships, these can be with friends, these can be with romantic relationships. We're going to be looking into the energy coming in there for the next 2 weeks. So if you have any in mind, definitely send that through. I'm going to go ahead and pull one more here. Group 2. Relationships with family, friends, or romantic relationships that are coming through. Any energy we need to hear about, any advice. Okay, so we have assertiveness, rise up, stand stronger and true, right? So this is definitely coming in already with that needing to be assertive, maybe putting those boundaries up between these people who are causing this pain or causing this toxicity, making sure to have those boundaries energetically, having those boundaries within yourself and asserting those, making sure they're really there. We also have health, focus on all parts to make the whole with peony. So this one here, and hopefully it'll focus for you. This one talks about, there we are, this one talks about, right, your health. So this can talk about your mental health, even your relationship with yourself in that case, and working on your mental health so you can find forgiveness within yourself, right? Find closure within yourself. Sometimes we can't find that closure with the people that are around us because they're not there yet, but maybe you need to find that closure or ask for help from the people who, like I said, can be your rock so that you can find that closure within yourself, because that rift that you're holding in there, that you're having to kind of, like, I'm almost feeling like it's like a wound that just keeps opening and you have to keep putting that scab over it and it keeps opening and you keep trying to heal and it's just never healing, right? So this is about making sure to try to make it heal as best as possible with the resources and people around you at this time, because I think that that's going to be really beneficial to you to be working on that, and making that a priority, your health being a priority versus trying to appease these people who are constantly continuing to create this rift. So yeah, definitely heavy energy. I feel like it's going to lighten with this help, and I don't think that it's going to, like, you're going to be at perfect health within the next 2 weeks, but I do think it's about really setting those boundaries, and that's going to help a lot, and also opening up when you have the chance. So let's go ahead and see a watercolor affirmation, but do stay tuned because we will be going into the charms just after that. So group 2 here, what do you have coming in for a affirmation for the next 2 weeks? So first off, we have live for today. This also makes me think of like live for yourself, right? Live for today, live for yourself, live in this moment. And when the moments seem difficult, it's like, my mom always told me this, like if you're on a roller coaster or something, and personally I love roller coasters, but still, if you're on a roller coaster and it feels really scary and you can't get off it, right? There's no way to get off of it. In this situation, there's not maybe a way to get off of it. Maybe that's not accessible to you at this time, but it's knowing that you have the ability to create and assert yourself, to be honest with yourself, to be honest with the people around you, and assert those boundaries enough to be able to close your eyes and get through it. So my mom always told me, if I'm on the roller coaster, if you don't like it, just close your eyes and it'll be over within 2 minutes. So in this case, it's like, how can you create those boundaries so you can close your eyes, make it a safe space for yourself, and be honest. So we have honesty is the best policy as well. So maybe that's for those of you who are ready for forgiveness or ready to be honest with someone, having these collaborative conversations that are going to be really important. I really think that that is coming through as well, to be honest, and make sure that you're living for yourself. This isn't trying to appease anyone else. This is just you needing to be honest to yourself so that others can see the boundaries you're starting to place. So yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and move on to your charms. Do let me know in the comments down below if this is resonating so far, and also feel free to like this video if it is. That makes such a big impact on this channel and this community. So thank you so much for those of you who have commented and liked so far, or plan to. I appreciate you so much. And yeah, let's go ahead and move on to your charms. So, group 2. I already have the overwhelm charm stuck on me, but we're going to keep going. Okay, so it kind of bounced very, I don't know, it felt very impactful. So we have only one here in the center. I'm going to zoom you in while I sort through these, but we only have one in the center, and it's the letter T, so that maybe resonates to a certain person. We have the partnership charm, the community charm. We have the 3 showing up here again. We have the star, the mirror, so looking in the mirror, really being honest with yourself. We have transformations on maybe a spiritual level coming in here. Also, this can talk about toxicity, because it's like, it looks like an oil spill, right? It's very slick, very oily, very, they just kind of like, even, oil can just get into anywhere, right? And it's very hard to get it out. So this is like sludgy oil, and you're ready to transform beyond that, and rise above that. Right, we had that assertiveness, rise up, stand stronger. So I feel like you're going to start standing into your element, start telling people off, right? We have the T, so telling people off and the T. The other thing that we have here is reflection. So again, I feel like sometimes the reason why you maybe don't feel like you want to be honest with people, or even honest with yourself, is that maybe you have to see how it's impacting you, how the reflections and refractions almost of light and of the people that you're around and having to surround yourself with, how it's affecting you, and how it's affecting not only your mental health, but how you make decisions, how you move forward in life, how you walk through life, how you, like I said, you're kind of like having to put up this wall between even people who are really good for you, because you don't want to create the same toxic mess. Like, I almost feel like you're worried you're going to bring that, and it's going to create and fester something that's good in your life. So there's something about guiding lights. There's something about slowing down and enjoying the community that's around you that's good for you. Meditating and noticing how they are impacting you for the good now, right? We have the partnership charm. This is about people who can be your best friends. I feel like this has a lot to do with friendship, but it can be a partner in your life, but that they have your back, right? You don't have to do this alone. You don't have to, right? All of this is kind of over in this corner all by itself, this transformation. And I feel like you're having to do it, and we even have T for transformation. You have to do it all by yourself, where this is all available to you, where they can help you slow down, where they can help be your guiding light, help you heal through this. And it's not always that they have to give advice or even talk, but it's just having them there sometimes can make a really big impact. So making sure that you're not walling them off between these next 2 weeks is going to be really beneficial for you. We also have the meditation charm. This also is like a drum. I feel like it looks like a little drum, or a meditative drum in some way. But this makes me think like finding a rhythm or finding your beat too, because right, the holidays, and if this definitely resonates with people who just come around during the holidays at least, there is something about like, right, you found your rhythm, you found your beat all year long, and then all of a sudden it was like blah, 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 and the rhythm got off, and you've lost your meditative beat, and you've lost that sense that you had previously. So this is about also finding a way to find your beat again. And I think that's maybe if you have to go to dinners with these people, maybe bring that person who can be really like your safeguard, or having some way to accessibly be able to talk to them after that, or even finding a way out of it if that's something you need to do for yourself. That's coming through. I'm going to go ahead and look at your cards here and make sure there's nothing I'm missing. I just feel, honestly, just like you're just figuring things out, finding ways to nurture yourself during this more difficult time. I don't think it's going to be something that's just going to be fixed within these next 2 weeks, but I do think it is something you're working on, at least within yourself, to open yourself up to healing these spaces, maybe talking to a therapist, talking to a best friend, talking to someone you really trust, because I think that's going to be most beneficial to you within these next 2 weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this reading here with me today. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like, and also let me know in the comments down below how this resonated for you. If you know who this tea represents, or how the situation is unfolding, anything like that, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. Also, if you'd like to see more of the readings that I do on my channel, feel free to check those out. There's a lot there. I've got lots of different weekly, monthly, and timeless readings for love, career, spirituality, friendship, your attractiveness, how others see you, so much. So if that's something you're interested in, and this beautiful community of kindred spirits, because I really do look out for each of you, and I'm very thrilled to see your wins, and I'm here to help through your healing, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to be a part of this community, feel free to subscribe. And also, if you would like to support this community even further and support yourself through the different offerings that I do, then feel free to check out the offerings that I have, especially for Yule at this time, as I have a winter solstice and Yule spell paper and ritual paper that you can use. It's made from 100% recycled materials, and has an oak leaf embedded in one of the papers of each set. It has a lot to do with the oak king, the oak tree, the sun revitalizing the land, all that kind of good stuff with the winter solstice. So if you're interested in that, definitely jump on it so I can get it shipped out to you as quickly as possible so you can have it for the holidays. But you can also check out my snail mail readings. There's not very many available at this time because holidays are coming in, so definitely if you want one of those, snag it up as quickly as possible also. But yeah, with all of that said, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm wishing you so much luck and healing through this process, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 3, if you've decided to choose this piece of an icy clear quartz, as well as the partially cloudy sky here with the sun and the clouds, then this is the pile for you. Feel free to get settled, grab some tea, a cozy blanket, feel just really comforted within your space, as we are going to be looking in with the charms, the watercolor affirmations, and these 3 different oracle decks and the Line Strider Tarot to look into the next 2 weeks for you. If you're curious about the different oracle decks that I have, as well as the minor arcana deck that I have, then definitely check out the description to see all of that. But yeah, like I said, we're going to be looking into the next 2 weeks to see any energy, insights, or guidance coming through for you. So yeah, if you are settled and ready to go, I am buzzing to get started. So let's see, group 3, what do you have coming in for the next 2 weeks, group 3? Any energy, insights, or guidance that we need to hear about, to look into? Ooh, I think we've got at least one card here of the 10 of Wands, and then we also have the Hierophant. So there is, maybe some of you are in school, or you're currently in a situation in which you are learning spiritually, learning about something. Maybe you're doing online trainings or something like that. There's just some sort of new learning element coming in here, and I forgot to show you guys here, but I'll go ahead and move it up. So yeah, we have the 10 of Wands, which is talking about feeling overwhelmed or feeling like you just have to like hunker it down and get something done, study for that test, or really go for that thing, and it's just going to be a lot of work. It's a lot of workload, but I do think that you have the capabilities to do it if you unlock and open your mind to it. But yeah, you have the Hierophant coming in here as well, so let's see what else there is for you within the next 2 weeks, and energy, insights, and guidance. Feel free to send your energy in through time and space here. Ooh, we had one upside down. Okay, so we also have the 7 of Cups. The 7 of Cups can talk about also feeling overwhelmed, but for a different reason. This talks about feeling, right, they've got like all these little fractals above them, and it's like almost like having to wake yourself up from a daydream, wake yourself up from procrastination, or feeling like there's just so many options that you don't really even know where to start. You're holding on to so many different options, even things that you're excited about, but there's just a lot on your mind, a lot you have to do, a lot on your to-do list, and you're trying to find the keys to be able to make that happen. I kind of feel like I want to pull you one more card for whatever reason. I've only normally been doing 3, but I just think I'm going to pull you one more. I feel like there's one more that just needs to speak to us here. So definitely send your energy in if that's like one specific message one of you really just needs to hear. But let's see, group Group 3, the next 2 weeks. So we also have the Two of Cups. Okay, so we have the Two of Cups. This talks about, I'm going to go ahead and move them this way, but the Two of Cups here talks about partnership. I'm going to go ahead and move that back. It talks about partnership. It talks about connecting with people. It talks about, hanging out with your best friend, finding someone you just feel really comforted. You are equals within a relationship, but also individuals. You create, two sides of a whole. So there is something about that, or even just feeling more connected to yourself as well could be coming in here. But it does seem like there's like this disconnect. I almost feel like if you're not currently in a relationship, I feel like there's this like almost daydreaming message. And since we have the Hierophant here, which always talks about, right, they've got the keys to everything. They're a mentor, or there's someone there's something that you're learning, and there's knowledge that you're learning about, but it's kind of guarded at the moment. These keys to this Two of Cups, because I felt like it needed to be on this side. Because there's this guarding feeling, I almost feel like this is at the back of your mind, that you're like, ooh, okay, I want partnership, I want love, I want best friends, I want that feeling to be really within myself. But I feel like at the moment, it's just either not available to you because you're working so hard. And even if you're in a relationship, maybe you're just working so hard, you don't have the time to really sit with them and be comforted by them and talk things through with them, and maybe that's making you feel more fractured, more like everything's everywhere, because you don't have them to maybe stabilize you. Maybe they're not around right now. Maybe there's long distance going on. Whatever the situation is, I just feel like there's this block that you're just not able to, not purposely, but just external circumstances are just kind of getting in the way of that, of seeking out love, of being within that partnership, or just being able to be physically with them. So sorry for the blur, just realized it. Sometimes I get so into what I'm talking about that I don't look up and notice. So do appreciate you guys working through everything I was saying with that blur. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the cards here so you guys can really see them, seeing as I had them all blurry there for a second. So those are some of the cards that I was talking on, in case the imagery really makes sense for your intuition there. Again, so sorry for the really long blur. But yeah, let's go ahead and get some more information here on these next 2 weeks. So we had that block, right? We have something sort of guarding it. Maybe you're still learning. Maybe you need a wing woman or a wing person to help you, find them or something like that. There's just something in the way. So let's see some more information on this blockage, or just other energies that are coming in within the next 2 weeks for group 3 here. So group 3, what else is coming through for you? Group 3. Thought I felt one, but lost it. Group 3. Oof. Okay, so we have dabble. What would help me feel safe in opening up? So like I said, there is this blockage, so maybe it's because you feel like you can't open up to someone even because of external circumstances, but we have dabble. And the mallard duck. So this is about dabbling around, right? What's underneath the surface? You see their feet paddling, right? They're like paddling around under the surface of the water. But all you see is the calm on the top of the water. So you're dabbling underneath, but maybe people can't see what you're dabbling on, and maybe it's making you feel overwhelmed, but it's time to open up about that. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed because you're working on a lot of gifts. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed because of the holiday season, or maybe it's something else entirely unrelated to the holidays. Maybe you're just feeling overwhelmed because, you're not able to see this person, and you're not able to open up because actual external circumstances are going on with like long distance or something. Whatever the situation it is, it just feels like there's something blocking this feeling of being able to feel safe to talk to them. Maybe there's this rift going on with them because of, like I said, external circumstances, but also it could just be other people in the way, or maybe you just don't really know how to put it into words. But yeah, you are dabbling. You're starting to maybe open up, dabbling with the idea of opening up to them or opening up to someone about these goals, about these ambitions, about these daydreams that you're having, and these new insights and learnings that you're coming across with someone you really trust, or finding that person that you really trust. I also wanted to talk about the sun as well. It talks about clarity. So we have a lot of sun energy with that moon. So I just feel like it's like you're finally being able to take something that was, under the water, under the surface, and letting it actually come to light. So yeah, wow. Okay, let's go ahead and look into one of my favorite little decks. It's one of the most honest decks that I have. It can be very honest, and it is just a playing card deck. It's the first deck that I ever used for tarot readings. It doesn't have all the major arcana, it just has this Joker card, but it can be very, very honest. So we're going to just see some honest lessons that are coming in for you within the next 2 weeks. Group 3. So what is an honest lesson, a lesson that's coming in within these next 2 weeks that you're going to be learning from, growing through, or just a bigger energy that we need to focus on here? Feel free to send your energy in here, group 3, because that always does help. I felt like this one right here. So we have the Ace. Okay, so we have the Ace of Swords. This is a new intellectual, exciting adventure, right? So where we have the Seven of Cups, this is daydreaming about something, not being able to make a decision. This one, you're feeling very overwhelmed. You're holding a lot of sticks. You're having to unpack a lot. You're also opening yourself up to something at this time. So yeah, it can be overwhelming because you have all these daydreams, all these exciting new things that you're wanting to work on. Maybe it's feeling overwhelming, but when you start to create one focus, that's going to really help. That's coming through with almost all 3 piles, is something about needing to make a focus, because a lot of your energy is being expelled on a lot of different things. So it's just reining things into one focus for these next 2 weeks is going to be really important. But with the Ace, any Ace really, the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, any of them, they talk about energy that isn't going to be here forever, right? So a new beginning, you have a seed, but you only have a certain amount of time before that seed just doesn't work, right? You can't keep it for a billion years and still expect it to work. So this is about knowing that that energy is not going to be always available to you, so it's time to actually act on it. So act on these new ideas, act on these new learnings, and start really going towards that goal that you have in mind, or going towards this new thing that you're wanting. And to unlock it, a lot of it's going to come from more mental energy. It's not always necessarily something that's going to be easy, right? Because the swords can talk about truth, talks about honesty, talks about conversation as well. So opening up a conversation, opening up a dialogue, but it's about finding the beginning seeds of that dialogue, finding the beginning seeds to start heading towards that new adventure, in love, in something more scholarly, whatever it is, whatever you've been daydreaming about. It's about starting to actually open up the conversation to make that happen. Let's see one more card here from this deck. Group 3. What else is coming in here that is a lesson or bigger energy that we need to hear about for the month for group 3? What's opening up? What are they dabbling in? Okay, so we also have the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles talks about sort of like harvesting those seeds, right? So we always talk about we were just talking about this new seed, this new exciting seed that you're working on, is something that's very small, very vulnerable still. It's just starting to bud, those conversations, but they're going to pay off in the long run, because the Nine of Pentacles talks about something that's going to take maybe a long time to get there. There's going to be a lot of conversation, a lot that has to be unpacked, but in unpacking those conversations about whatever it is that you're dabbling in here, it's going to create a dialogue that is going to withstand the test of time, right? It's going to open up a longer conversation that's actually going to create something more healthy long term. So that's really exciting to see. Like I said, this deck can be very honest and raw, but in this case, I feel like it's just like letting you know, a little bit of support, being like, just open up that conversation, open up that dialogue about what you're learning, what you're growing in, what you're dabbling in, with someone who you really trust. So I'm going to go ahead and pull you a relationship card. So this is to look into a relationship in your life. So if you have a specific one in mind, this can be friends, family, romantic relationships, a relationship with yourself. Whatever it is, feel free to send that energy in, and we're going to see what the collective energy is. So group three, what do you have coming in here, group 3? Nope, not that one. Ooh. We have 2 just flying right out. So we have the Mexican marigold and the cactus flower. One says endurance, hold on, you can do this. And the other says renewal, time to begin again, stronger and better. Ooh, so renewal and endurance. So like endurance is what I was already talking about, something that's going to be long standing, something that's going to be a seed, but it's going to grow all season long and bloom and be something you can really harvest. So it's something you're going to have to endure. You're going to really have to wait for them to maybe change their mind, come full circle for this. But it is going to create this new renewal, this new space for you to open yourself up. Especially since a lot of this had a lot to do with those 2 of cup situations. I really think you also might be renewing a relationship with someone in general. Time to stand again, stronger, better. Maybe, like I said, some of you might be long distance with someone, so making sure to endure the time until you can, find that renewal with them. But whatever it is, those 2 cards are coming in for you. So we'll see how that resonates. Like I say, always definitely check out the charms, check out the cards, check out everything that's coming in, because as much as I can tell you the information that's coming through with my own intuition, I always do think these are conversations with you and me. We're working together here to create this space where you can really empower yourself. So definitely listen to your own intuition and see what's coming in. I think that that's also really important. And sometimes these readings can also be a great exercise in that for you to really work that intuition. But we're going to go ahead and pull you one more card here from the Watercolor Affirmations. But if you want to create your own oracle deck like this one using a bit of art magic, definitely check out the video I have on that. But we're going to pull you one of these, and then we're going to go into your charm messages and close off the reading. So let's go ahead and see one more message here from an affirmation before we move on to the charms. What do we need to hear for group number 3 for the next 2 weeks? Okay, so we have 2 of them facing upside down. Decide which way to go and time to take action. Time for action. Okay, these are both very much action cards, right? So I was talking about, you're daydreaming about something. It's in the back of your mind. You're not sure what you want to do. It's maybe feeling overwhelming. There's a lot going on. You want to open up those dialogues, but you're not sure maybe how to do it. So this is about finding a solution to that, finding a way to actually create action to that, creating that space, because it's not going to be always available forever. But I think if you do, it's going to be impactful long term. So start making those actions, start maybe dabbling in those types of conversations to make this less abrupt, I suppose. But I think that a conversation needs to be had, or at least a conversation about these, even with yourself, about what it is you're ready to unlock. So yeah, very exciting energy. I really like your guys' cards so far, but let's go ahead and see your charms. If you're enjoying this reading so far, do let me know by giving this video a like. It really does help this channel so much, and I appreciate it so much because it lets me know that it really resonated. But you can also let me know in the comments after all the charms, or even now, how this is resonating for you. I love to have those conversations with you, opening that dialogue. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to your charms. Like this specific one needed to come out. Okay, so usually I have a different kind of stirring method, but I found them and it was you need to just dump these. So we're gonna see what comes in here. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you in. It looks like we're getting a few different messages, which is really interesting. But yeah, let's see. You have a bit of protection coming in here with the, I never know how to say it properly, but the Hamza or Hanza, I'll hopefully put it on the screen of what I'm trying to say here, but there is something about protection from even like evil eye protection is coming in with that as well. We do have the guiding light. This is like a flashlight. So it talks about a guiding light coming in, someone being your guiding light, or you guiding someone through a conversation because you have the knowledge, someone shining a light on new knowledge for you. But yeah, we have the guiding light, someone putting a flashlight on it, really highlighting something. We have two different coins coming in. So we have the dime, and then we have the quarter. So it's like almost like, I'm almost feeling like this, like, right, you're going from the dime to the quarter to 50 cents to 75 cents. Like you're working your way up to maybe having the courage to open up these conversations with yourself or with others. Also because this does say spirit of courage on it. So it is about finding that courageous spirit. There is the teamwork charm with the buzzing bee. This also is like a pollinator, right? So this is about making sure that you can spread your message and make sure that it, really spreads quite far over time and makes sure that that continues to grow, right? It helps plants continue to thrive. We do have the screw charm, so you maybe feel like you're a bit like screwed in this, like it just feels like maybe that's going to be a really difficult situation to have to explain to someone or open these dialogues of conversation. But I do think if you have the courage, that there's going to be teamwork and it's going to shed light that's going to make you feel a lot lighter, right? Like we were talking about with the dabble card, when you start dabbling in these conversations, they're going to open up that light. It's going to make things come to light, and that's going to be much more freeing when it's in the light. You seem to be divinely protected in some way, or protected by your spirit guides or something like that. They seem to be wanting to help you in this. This is the one that was really speaking to me when I was going through the charms. So we have here the little me charm. In this case, it's a small picture of myself from like middle school. But this is like your inner child charm. So this talks about giving back to a past version of yourself. It doesn't have to be childhood, but giving back to a past version of yourself. So maybe what you're dabbling in and opening yourself up to are things from maybe the past too. Like maybe there was this old daydream you had, or this old dream that you had that maybe you wanted to like this is just like a random example, but maybe you always wanted to open a bakery or open a shop or work at this place, or be a firefighter or something like that, right? Childhood fantasies, exciting like little things, but this is you finally having the courage to maybe have those things start to happen, start working and dabbling in those and seeing if maybe you can put your toes in those again, being curious to do that, and then having the courage to open up the conversation and dialogue to maybe find other people who can help you with that, and open yourself up to that, because it seems kind of closed off at the beginning of these 2 weeks. You have another coin here. So this also talks about something from the past, because we have like the Liberty Bell, and then it also says here 1776 and the History Channel. So this talks about something from the past, like way, way, way in the past, that is opening up, maybe something from a past life, but this all because of the date here. But it also can just be in general, just like I said, something from your past, from a past self that you're shedding light on as well. Maybe a past event that's maybe a difficult conversation, and you're starting to change, and you're wanting people to see that change that's happening within you. Because we also have the change your style charm. So this can be change within yourself, starting to dabble in, new clothes, or dabbling in new music, or maybe you're just those subtle little things are starting to change in you and people are starting to notice that, and it's you becoming more of your authentic self. Or maybe you're just moving from one version of yourself to another, not necessarily that one's better or worse, but there's just something about starting to move on from that and maybe opening that conversation to others who maybe are like questioning what you're up to. So definitely just do your own thing. I don't think that these conversations should impact you in the fact that you can't go after your goals if they say something that says otherwise. But it does seem that there's a lot of teamwork here. It seems like there's going to be people who want to help you on this, and maybe they hold those keys to making this happen. Right? So opening those conversations might actually open yourself up to a wider range of potential for this goal to happen, this dream to happen. So yeah, wow, very productive 2 weeks for you guys. Definitely curious. Let me know in the comments down below how this has resonated with you so far. I really would love to hear maybe these goals and dreams you're heading off to, what you're dabbling in, if you feel comfortable telling me. I'm just curious about it. But yeah, let me know. Also, feel free to like the video, as I mentioned earlier, and if you would like to join this Kindred Spirit community and be a part of this more often to see the monthly, weekly, and timeless readings that I do for love, career, spirituality, friendship readings, and so much more, then feel free to subscribe and join this community. I'd love to have you guys here. And also, if you would like to support yourself even further through the different offerings that I provide, then definitely feel free to check out the offerings that I have right now for snail mail readings, but also for the Yule spell and ritual paper that I have out for the winter solstice, as those ones I definitely want to get out as quickly as possible if there's interest, so they can make it to you through the holiday shipping madness, and make it to you by the solstice. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely check out all the offerings I have down below for private readings, as well as for these specific spell papers that I create, because it really does help me continue to sustain this channel, but also be able to support you. So if that's something you're interested in, check that out down below. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment, all the stuff. And I'm wishing you the best in these conversations, these dabblings and daydreams, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.